Azure Friday updates. The 20th of June, 2026. Official Microsoft Azure updates, rewritten for practical engineering impact. Today's chapters are identity, security, and governance, infrastructure, compute, networking, and storage, AI, data, and developer platform, monitoring, operations, cost, and reliability, and final engineer actions. Chapter 1. Identity, security, and governance. Chapter 1. Identity, security, and governance. First, security posture is moving closer to modern app platforms. Microsoft Defender for cloud support for Azure Container Apps is in public preview, which matters if serverless container workloads are part of your landing zone. Treat this as posture management for workloads that may not look like traditional virtual machines or clusters. Also note the Cosmos DB Safe Key Rotation preview. Key rotation is basic hygiene, but it is often operationally risky. Engineers should test rotation paths, application reload behavior, and rollback before changing production keys. 2 retirements need owners now. Azure VMware Solution AV36 nodes retire after September 30, 2027, with SDDC access removed on October 1, according to the Microsoft update. If you run AV36 inventory first, then plan migration to a supported AVS node type. Separately, the Azure VPN Client for Linux preview retires on August 31, 2026. Linux endpoint teams should identify users, check replacement guidance, and avoid treating preview client access as a permanent control plane dependency. Chapter 2. Infrastructure, compute, networking, and storage. Chapter 2. Infrastructure, compute, networking, and storage. Azure Container Apps has 2 updates worth grouping together. Sandboxes are in public preview, aimed at isolated environments for running untrusted or agent-generated code. Confidential compute support for container apps is generally available, which is more production-shaped. The practical point is simple: container apps is being pushed beyond lightweight HTTP services. Test isolation, identity, networking, egress, image provenance, and logging before using these features for sensitive workloads. Azure Files also gets a useful identity update. Secure, modern access to Azure Files on macOS with Microsoft Entra ID is in public preview. That matters for organizations trying to reduce key-based or legacy access patterns. Keep it in evaluation until your platform team has checked client support, conditional access expectations, and operational fit. Storage account creation also has a retirement. GPv1 and legacy blob storage account creation is being retired. If templates still create old account types, clean them up now. Networking has 1 retirement and 1 practical improvement. Azure Load Balancer Inbound NAT Rule version 1 for virtual machine scale sets is retiring, so infrastructure as code should be checked for older NAT pool patterns. Meanwhile, ICMP support for Azure Standard v2 NAT Gateway is generally available. That helps with diagnostics, but do not mistake ping support for full application health. Keep proper synthetic tests and flow logs in place. Chapter 3. AI, Data, and Developer Platform. Chapter 3. AI, Data, and Developer Platform. Azure Functions is getting several agent-era updates. The serverless agent runtime is in public preview, and managed connectors for Azure Functions are also in public preview. The engineering impact is that Functions is being positioned for event-driven agent workflows, not just request-response APIs and timers. Use this carefully. Preview means validate supported languages, hosting plans, regions, authentication, connector billing, observability, and human approval points before letting agents change real systems. On the data side, Microsoft Entra Server principles for Azure SQL Database are generally available. That is a serious identity and operations update for teams reducing SQL authentication sprawl. Check deployment automation, database ownership, break glass access, and monitoring. For AI workloads, private connectivity for Azure AI Search and Foundry knowledge bases is generally available. That matters because enterprise retrieval systems often need private network paths, not public endpoints patched over with wishful thinking. Chapter 4. Monitoring, Operations, Cost, and Reliability. Chapter 4. Monitoring, Operations, Cost, and Reliability. Azure Monitor has 2 updates worth noting together. Service level indicators are generally available, which helps teams express service health in terms that operations and product owners can both use. Ingestion of OTLP signals into Azure Monitor with the OpenTelemetry collector is also generally available. The action is not to collect everything. Define useful service indicators, control ingestion volume, and make alerting actionable before expanding telemetry pipelines. There are also reliability-focused updates around functions and recovery. Built-in Grafana dashboards for Azure functions are generally available, giving teams a faster path to useful runtime visibility. Azure Site Recovery support for Linux Azure VMs with NVMe disk controllers is in public preview. If you use those VM shapes, this is worth lab validation, but do not assume preview disaster recovery support is production ready. Test failover, failback, runbooks, and recovery point objectives. Chapter 5. Engineer Actions. Final chapter, Engineer Actions. Inventory the retirements first, AV36, the Linux VPN Client preview, load balancer NAT pools, and legacy storage account creation. Pilot previews only in controlled environments. For security and AI updates, validate identity, private networking, logging, egress, and rollback. For operations updates, define the signal before adding more telemetry. And do not roll out from an update page alone. This was Azure Friday updates from Azure in 60 seconds. Check the official Microsoft links in the description before making production changes. Follow Azure in 60 seconds for direct, practical Azure updates. youtube.com/@Azure in 60 seconds. TikTok and Instagram @AZ in 60 seconds. Shout out to John Saville for the standard he set for clear Azure education. Always check the official Microsoft links in the description before making production changes.